14th, Valentine's Day of all days, high school students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida endured terror and trauma that most of us can't even imagine when an expelled student used an assault weapon he had legally purchased to kill 14 students and 3 adults at their school. Although school shootings like this one have sadly become more and more commonplace in our country over the past 20 years, the aftermath of this shooting has been hardly commonplace. If you're at all tuned in to what is happening in our nation, you probably know that the aftermath of this tragedy has been so unique because of the fierce and courageous responses of so many of the students that survived the shooting at Stoneman Douglas that day. The students of Parkland, Florida have met with senators, the president, organized marches, and spoken at rallies. They prompted CNN to hold a nationally televised town hall meeting where they were able to directly address their U.S. senators and representatives, and also speak to a representative of the NRA, the National Rifle Association. They've used their social media platforms to gather hundreds of thousands of supporters and followers, and they've called for high schools all around the country to walk out of their schools for 17 minutes today to demand that legislators pay attention and take action. Now, large companies like Dick's Sporting Goods and Walmart have stopped selling certain types of assault rifles and raised the minimum wage and required to purchase guns at their stores. While many people may be surprised by how successful these students have already been, I'm not surprised at all, and you probably aren't either. I'm here today for the same reason all of you are, because this is more than just a debate over guns. This movement, this spark turned to a flame, is about us. These students are initiating the change they wish to see. While this tragic event was enough to bring us together, we must take after the students of Parkland. These students are initiating change, and we will not back down about this issue or any issue that affects us and needs to be addressed in our nation. Gun laws, racism, sexism, homophobia, we've got to begin speaking out on all of these issues. Our fellow high school students have refused to be dismissed by those in positions of power, and we must do the same. I want every single person here to understand the potential that I see in this crowd today. We are not just kids. Malala Yousafzai won a Nobel Peace Prize at 17 for her work in gaining equal education for girls in the Middle East. Soraya Blair became the youngest person ever to be elected into the government in the United States when at 18 she won an election to serve in the West Virginia House of Delegates, representing a small district in the state, defeating her 44-year-old opponent by over 30% of the vote. Joshua Wong began his own activist group, Scholarism, in 2011 at the age of 14 to protest against the Chinese government's plan to implement a pro-communist education program. He brought thousands of citizens onto the streets of Hong Kong's financial district to protest. Someone say these were all just kids, or that we are all just kids. But we are leaders, we are strong, and we are united. We have grown up in an era where it's totally normal to practice what to do and when and if the dreaded day comes when our school becomes one of the multitude of schools where an individual takes innocent lives with a gun. For us, school has never quite been the safe place that it was for our parents and grandparents. When our parents and most of our elected officials were in school, they had drills for the dangers of fires and tornadoes, not drills for active shooters that threaten to take life in an instant. Together, we will create a future that we want to see, a future with safety, with equality, and with justice. I am so inspired to see students our age making changes. This is our chance to keep the movement going in our school, in our community, and in our nation. My fellow students, I cannot encourage you enough. If you are eligible to vote this upcoming primary election, do it. If you can register to vote at 17, which many students aren't aware of. We will vote because we are not just kids. We will fight because we are not just kids. a change. We are not just kids. We'll stand up, speak up, and stay strong. We are not just kids. We are not just kids. We are the future, and we choose what we decide to make of it. Get educated, get inspired, get to the polls, and get ready, because this generation is capable of anything.